Hey everyone, and welcome to the Defining Your Life podcast, where we focus on living in our purpose, practicing presence, and activating our power in each moment. I'm Marsharelle, your resident pep talk provider, and I invite you to join me as we continue to learn, lift each other up, and strive to level up together. Because we are never finished defining our lives, and it takes a village, so let's build one. Stay tuned for the episode. Hey everyone, I hope that all is well and you have had a productive week in whatever way you needed. With Women's History Month well underway, I was feeling moved to share some friendly reminders with our village in the form of a short series. Now, really, this pod is all about reminding us of our greatness at all times, right? But a series for me sort of puts me in the right mindset. It's a bit more of a focused approach, and I'm more likely to implement the associated calls to action because I'm in that mind space for an extended period of time. I hope that, you'll find benefit in the series as well as we start to move through it. And so during this time, I want to highlight some of the fundamental qualities that stand out in women that I admire, whether close to me or from afar. Those that I see in women navigating all walks of life, whether that is the corporate powerhouse or the stay-at-home mother, the innovative entrepreneur, or even that carefree woman that may sometimes throw caution to the wind. I'd like to channel more of that in my life. Now, I'm sure that, we can all come up with a handful of beautiful women, some may be famous, some maybe not, that stand out in some capacity in our lives. Some qualities just shine brighter in others. We all have those things that stand out about us. Maybe it's a thing that comes naturally to you, or maybe you've had to work at it over time. But I think that it's important to always glean good from others, no matter our age. As children, we are often asked who we look up to, who we want to be like when we grow up. But as we come into and move through adulthood, we're more focused on creating our own identity, often falling away from the practice of looking to others to see what good we can take from them and apply to our own lives. And even if we do still practice that practice, we're not very vocal about it. Or, we more often share what we've learned not to do from others. Like, my parent did it this way, so I know I don't want to do it that way. Or this person used this business model and that didn't work out, so I know I'm not going to do what they did. And while there is still some sharing around the good that we see in others that we'd like to emulate, it's just not as prevalent. Why don't we go around praising and acknowledging the good we want to glean from others just as much as we advertise the bad we want to avoid? Is it because, we're scared of how it will make us look, or how we think we'll feel if we acknowledge something someone else is doing right, especially if it's in an area that we're lacking? Or maybe it's that we think people will get too puffed up if we give them too much praise. Could it be that we're just projecting in some instances and none of these storylines that we're creating in our head are actually accurate? These are just questions, y'all, but I do feel that we need to continue to challenge ourselves with how we behave in relationship, right? This type of thinking and behavior certainly also influences how people receive positive accolades. People struggle with accepting compliments and feeling worthy of praise around their positive impact because the narrative is always flipped to the negative. But it all starts with how we view ourselves. And then, of course, that bleeds over into how we treat others and so on. So we have to make sure that our focus isn't misguided in relationship with others, because it impacts so much more than what's on the surface. And now that was a bit of a tangent. I didn't mean to go on, but I guess someone out there needed to hear that you can totally be secure in your own womanhood, yet admire and aspire to have some of the attributes of the woman next to you. We know it's not cool to be envious or covet the life of others. There's no space for that, right? But there is plenty of room for aspiration, particularly when you're tapping into the younger version of yourself. Think of how the people you looked up to made you feel. They made me feel hopeful. And there was a fearless drive that backed up that hope because the hope made me feel like I could do it too. And those people you look up to show you what it takes, the qualities that you need to get it done. So of course, it's totally natural to want to be like them in some ways. It doesn't mean that you lose yourself chasing someone else's reality or someone else's life. Remember, glean the good. Glean the good. You can do that from others and not lose yourself. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I think I went on and on about that, but I was called to share that. But I do think it's a great segue into kicking off this series. As women, we often struggle with slowing down, letting go of multitasking, doing a million things for everyone all at the same time, worrying about a million things, anxiously waiting for a million things to transpire. It's always a million things. And what we neglect to do and what we often forget is that we have the power to just be. And your first thought in regard to just being may automatically be to chill, put it all down, pause, and embrace the pure essence of your existence, right? And while that is part of the conversation, it's not the only part. There are so many ways in which we need to just be, and we'll explore several of them over the course of this series. So I'm tagging this the Be series. We're going to talk about what we need to be in this world, right? So today, let's kick off with be confident. So what does it mean to be confident? Put simply, it just means to be sure. And that can range from a variety of things, right? Are you sure that you selected a meal from that menu that you'll be satisfied with? Are you sure you won't regret cutting your hair? Are you sure that your friends have your back? Are you sure you made the right choice between those two jobs? Are you sure that walking away was the right thing to do? Are you sure? The list could go on and on, but the main point that I'm trying to make here is that being confident means that you believe. You believe in yourself, your abilities, your gifts, your intellect, and you move forward with an air of certainty that what you may be lacking in skill or ability, you make up for in your confidence, your assuredness of how far the capabilities that you were blessed with can take you. So what are some ways that we can boost our confidence? Number one is plan. When situations and opportunities come our way unexpectedly, you may find yourself unprepared. And when you're unprepared, your confidence 100% suffers. I'm always inspired when I hear people say, I know my stuff. I've put in the work. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. Take work for an example. You may feel challenged at work. And challenge isn't always bad, but it can be stressful. It can be heavy. But do you believe that even in the midst of said challenges, if your leadership comes to you, for instance, and asks you about something in particular, do you believe that you will know the answer or at a minimum where to find the answer without fumbling too much? Now, this is within reason, y'all. Obviously, I'm talking about related to your job, not them coming out of the woodwork asking you about something that isn't relevant, throwing you some crazy town curveball. But do you know your job in and out? If the answer is no, then there's room to plan more, right? Planning leads to preparedness. So if you have to plan a little extra time to prep for a presentation or, learn more, delve into your job more, maybe an extra hour or so to get yourself together so you don't feel like you can be easily rocked. Because when your planning leads to preparedness, you go in confident and ready to do what you need to do to knock it out of the park. So plan for both the expected and the unexpected. Number two, do more. Do more to exercise your muscles in uncomfortable spaces because it's so easy to fall into our regular patterns, even when we know we need to break them. Do you always take that seat at the back of the room because you don't want to feel like you're on the spot and there's a possibility you'll have to engage instead of just observing? If this is you, why is it that you are choosing to only observe? When I take that seat at the back, I know it's because I want to go undetected, get in and get out unscathed, right? But if I'm only ever looking for the opportunity to remain unscathed, Am I opening myself up to an opportunity at all? I can't say I'm going to a networking event just to be in the room, right? If I'm in the room and playing the wall or only talking to the people I know, what have I actually done? You got it. You haven't done much at all. Now, a better strategy may be to take yourself to a lot of smaller networking events, less people, more curated audiences, not just those big who's who events if you know you're not ready to maximize that opportunity, but you're still ready to do more. So do more impactful things, even if it seems the steps you are taking are smaller in the beginning, you're still taking those steps. And number 3, affirm yourself. Y'all know I speak on the power of words on here all the time, but you got to tell yourself that you can as much as you need to. Recite it to yourself. Stick that Post-it on the computer. Y'all remember being Mary Jane with the Post-it notes? Do that if that's what it takes. But remind yourself that you're already glowing and that you will continue to glow up because you are doing the work. Confidence can be cultivated in your life. Even confidence in the little things can create in you a large commanding presence. And we are meant to take up all the space we need to be our healthiest, glowiest selves. There's certainly room for everyone, right? We don't have to make space for people. Their space and yours are both already there, but we need to make sure that we aren't encroaching on the spaces of our sisters, but instead we should be making sure that we're all able to find our place setting at the table. So be confident, keep building until you feel that confidence. If there is a positively confident woman in your life, glean that good from her, and in turn, be open and available so that someone else is able to glean something from you. I'll leave you with a few words from Rosalind Carter. You have to have the confidence in your ability and then be tough enough to follow through. Thanks so much for listening today. If what you've been hearing has been beneficial, please remember to share, review, follow, and rate the pod. I can't wait to chat with you all again next week. Take care until then.